So it just puts a Band-Aid, it's just a Band-Aid. That doesn't really,
And there's really no amount of money, I mean, zero, nothing, that this board would even remotely consider taking out of ag preservation for a 3-year period of time. No dollar amount at all to help with this process. Is that right?
I voted on your motion for 500,000. I think that's reasonable. It's not going to kill the ag pres. I'm all for the land trust and ag pres, and I am. But this is extremely tight. And that, if it goes from, was it $3 million a year right now that we're putting in there to $2.5 million?
Well, it's 3 million is what you have the discretion to pull out of there right now.
There's more of it going in there, but it's coming from other places.
Okay, so instead of pulling out 3 million, which I would not do, 500,000 out of there is the ag pres program will still move forward.
The other thing is, by the nature of the Ag Press program, if the revenue's higher than we think it's gonna be, that's an easy place to put one-time money because they can carry it forward and they can use it for, in other words, they can make up ground if it's there.
but even if we do that,
I know, it's not the total.
Well, it's a
answer.
piece of the solution, it's not the whole thing. I do it before I take it out of the school system.
But I mean, I'm not going to make a motion if no one else is comfortable.
No, I know, but I
It's
agree,
not-
but, I mean, we're
you're
talking about,
just throwing it out there for food for thought
Yeah.
right now, because something's gotta give here.
well, we're talking about what, two farms that would be maybe, delayed? I mean, I guess, maybe 6 over a 3-year period of time? I'm not even talking about 5 years anymore, we're really looking at 3.
No, it's not, we're not looking at 5 years now at this point. I agree with that.
Right, so we're talking about,
And it takes at least a year or two to get them through it anyway.
And are you just talking about 2021 and 22, not even FY19? I'm just asking.
yeah,
Yeah, right, I wouldn't be talking FY 19.
No,
The
not
money's not
touching
needed there.
19.
So why,
It
right,
would
why
be- it
take
would-
the money if we don't
no,
need
if,
it?
if we were gonna do 4 years, I'd do 23, because I gotta tell you, the scariest number up there isn't even the negatives. I think, well, to be within $73,000 4 years out, that's throwing one hell of a dart.
Well, it is, but it's not taking into consideration that we might see an increase in something also, as long as you're in the positive. I'm looking at half full, half empty here, Doug.
I understand.
So how does this affect our installment purchase payments?
It doesn't. The 3 million is what we said is truly available to take. Now, existing installment purchase. Now, of course, if you reduce the funding, then
Well, it is more than 3 funds, but it is more than 3 farms. If we're using primary installment purchase plans and we cut it by 500,000,
Well, only if we're talking about IPAs, but I'm talking about a short-term situation, so I wouldn't think you would use, because not all of them we do IPAs for.
yeah, and the act of preserving through an IPA has a similar impact in that we now need to set aside that money for 20 years, so it's not available for
Right.
cash purchases.
what's this do with the state environmental issues we brought up earlier?
$500,000 is not gonna change that. There's just no way. Believe me, when they see how hard everybody's fighting not to deal with some other issues in lieu of this, they would have to believe from today's discussion, the county's committed to ag preservation.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
And we
think-
are.
I don't think you could draw another conclusion from that discussion.
All right, let me run another idea by you. I don't even know if I would go for it myself, but it might send a better message.
Well, I like it already.
Suppose we did something along the lines of a 15% reduction in ag pres 20, a 10% reduction in 21, and a 5% in 22. And then we move the 383,000 to future years, and we're getting pretty close to balancing. Not there yet, but we're getting close.
Well, we moved to 383,000 at FY 19, we have 0. It has to be if we have one additional thing that we're not accounting for, I know we have the reserve and all that, but
I don't understand what you're saying. So you're saying 15% of the 300,000? Of the 3
Of
million?
the
He's
three-
talking,
of
you're
the
talking
3
about
million.
the 3
Of
million.
the 3 million, 15%, 10%, then 5%.
I mean,
So that's
idea.
450,000, 300,000,
And 150.
50,000.
So what are those numbers again? 450,
300
3,
and 150.
and 150. 10, 7, 8, 9, yeah.
I mean, you gotta tell you, I don't think 500,000 a year for 3 years is a big deal.
That's more than that.
Huh?
Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's
I'm sorry.
And again, I don't want to just manipulate things, but I was comfortable at a higher number. If we did 500,000 a year for 3 years from Ag Pres, and just 500,000 in 2 years of recognizing additional revenue, we could just about make this work. We have to get some things in the right slots.
Mhm.
But those are two, I mean, I think we're all stepping over the lines we're not comfortable with, but just barely.
Well, we're gonna have to make some tough choices to get this thing balanced. There's no doubt about that.
If we make this kind of a decision right now, we all do understand that we're done, right?
Well, yeah, there's not much more we could do.
I just want to be clear here.
And for the operating
I
budget, we
mean,
have nothing else.
this goes a long way in what my decision's going to be as the guy who has the most ag press,
All right, let me see if I can make it a little more palatable. And I'm-
because I'm putting my neck on the line here. If I would do something like this and putting the emphasis on critically important things, such as the SROs and the opioid.
You know, we bumped the sheriff up to 1 million, take him back to 800. Which is still a huge, huge hit for him, positive hit for him.
I think we've already done this, but just to try to get a little bit more here, and I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is. We've already identified the fact that it's not going to be able to be put into place entirely, the SRO program,
Right.
come October the 1st or September the 1st or
We
whatever it
need
is.
lateral
So we're going to
transfers.
continue to use the overtime to put folks there
Right.
Mhm.
until such time as we get the program full
Fully up
tilt,
and running, yeah.
right?
Right.
So we've already done that, right?
Remember, the overtime cost us too, though.
Right,
Well, I know that.
a little bit less.
Well, suppose
What if we did this, this would be the 3 parts. As it relates to ag preservation, we would reduce it for 20, 21, and 22, 500,000, 500,000, 250. And then get it back to its full number. And in terms of recognizing revenue for 20 and 21, we'd recognize 500,000 each of those 2 years. And then we would take about 200-something thousand out of 19, bless you, and forward fund 22. And I think everything would balance at that point. It would be awfully tight. But we take a little bit from here, a little bit of a stretch on revenue, a little bit of some money that we've got left sitting there right now, and get the rest of the way there. Can you just show what that would look like, Deb?
All right, well, while she's preparing that, that's fine. Well, another variation of theme would be to take 200,000 back from the sheriff, 200,000 back from the public schools, and then some other combination of things to close the gap. To trim spending just a teeny bit.
What is that, Deb?
This is taking 200,000 out of 19's balance, putting it into FY '22.
Can you do it, can you show all three?
You mean separate?
Yeah. I mean, I know I said they're all kind of together, but I think it'd be easier to see.
Sure. Income tax would
Because if you got
be,
the
Nothing
200,000
there,
to a
yeah,
million.
500 and 500.
ag,
And pres would be nothing there,
nothing
No.
in 19?
nothing in 19.
Oh, okay,
Nothing in
that's
19.
where I,
500,
whoops. 500, whoop. Sorry.
Do we have to get somebody here who can do this?
Yeah.
Can you guys turn off the camera in
Wait a
case she
minute.
wants to respond
Wait a
to that?
Yeah. I did it again.
She did that one on purpose.
I think Deb's,
Just to show you who's driving the
The good
show.
Lord is telling you, don't do it.
Deb's fingers need to
You
be
know how
coordinated.
difficult these decisions are getting when these two are going at it at the
Yeah,
table.
and 250.
Okay.
And then 200 out of 19. And into, there you go.
This is on the expenditure side, that's why I have.
I understand, yeah,
Okay.
we're working backwards, I get you.
There
What
you
is,
go.
what is this, what is the 500, 500, 250? Is that
Okay,
ag?
so the first 500 is recognizing additional revenue, presuming from the income tax, which would really probably come in 19 and 20, but we would recognize in 2021. The second line would be ag pres, and the third line would be just moving 200,000 that we have right now available out to 22. And for argument's sake, I'd probably move another 100. Once you make that 300, Deb, out of 19 and move 100 more into 20.
Move to 20.
If we're gonna get it, if we're gonna get close, let's get, no, I'm sorry,
No,
leave that, yeah, move it to 20. 100,000 to 20.
Move 100
Okay,
to 20.
I'm confused, but say this again.
No, you're gonna split
Yeah,
the 300 out of.
100,000 to 20. Leave the 300.
Oh, okay, gotcha,
Yeah, and then the other 200,000 from, in 22.
okay.
Now, Commissioner Archer, I know that's not ideal from a revenue standpoint, but it is less than you and I were, almost there on. I get the whole ag pres thing, I totally do. But when we're talking about a much more reasonable amount of money than I started this thing out at.
That's the truth.
Don't try to put a Band-Aid on a sucking chest wound here.
I'm just
Howard.
trying to say, when you're talking to your compadres, you did your work.
Look at me.
No, yeah, I understand. I'm not saying any of this is easy, I'm just saying that's one possible way to go. And the last one is really just shuffling money we have already.
Right. So you want to take those one at a time? So I'm thinking maybe 2 out of 3 might fly easily. I'm hoping.
Could I make another suggestion?
Sure.
Can we sleep on this? Without taking any of these today? Aren't we coming back here Tuesday?
You can leave them
Okay.
again.
These are huge decisions that
It's
I'd like a
okay.
chance to have
Yeah, okay.
a little bit of time to let soak in, if we're where we're at right
That's
now.
fine. I think that's good. I mean, I'm not in love with this. I understand why you did it, but I'm not in love with it.
Well, it does give us
As-
all an opportunity to go away and try to think if there's
Not-
anything
not-
better.
Right, and neither am I, Rich, but at
Not
this
only anybody
point,
is, yeah.
these decisions that we're making are serious enough that I'm shaking over here.
Well, I know, and I still believe we should be
And-
trimming the BOE and the sheriff's budget a teeny bit, just a teeny bit to mitigate this. And it seems like those things both seem to be off limits.
Okay.
All right, if you want to just table the operating budget until Tuesday,
That's a good idea.
So moved,
say it again.
so moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We can move to the capital budget, can't we?
Yep, capital budget.